Hey, what's going on, guys? J.Powell Music. I hope you guys are having a good weekend and staying cool. At least it's pretty hot out here on Southern California. But anyway, wanted to do a quick video on the power of Koala and a $15 Bluetooth keyboard. So, uh, long long story less long. The iPad that I talked to you guys about, the 10.9 10, I ended up returning it, and I was trying some different music options or ways to make music, and I ended up going back to the iPad. But I got the iPad 11, which is what I'm using to record this video. Because it has double the space, I get a little more screen as well, and it actually works in the same case that I had with my iPad 10, the 10.9. So the iPad 11 fits in the 10.9 case, which is sweet. So yeah, I just said, what, let's just go back to the iPad here, just because there's a lot of different apps that I want to explore that aren't on Android and are not on Windows, like Ableton Note, AUM. So I was like, let's just go for it. So I ended up returning a bunch of stuff from Amazon that I was checking out tech wise, to get the iPad 11. But I use Koala quite a bit. I love Koala, and I was trying different MIDI keyboards and whatnot, but this is kind of changing everything for me, just because the Bluetooth, and I'll put a link into the description if you like this keyboard. The form factor is actually pretty small, so it's not like you're holding like a work keyboard and an iPad, which would be kind of silly. It's a little longer than the iPad 11, but not by much. But the cool thing about this is that this is Bluetooth, and it works for Android, Windows, and iOS. But syncing it up to iOS, I can control Koala with this. Like pretty much everything in Koala, I can map it like a MIDI Bluetooth controller, and I can use these as pads. I can use this as switching different sequences. I can go between, like if I'm going through like the piano roll, I can use this to scroll through the piano roll. I can probably do like a hold control and shorten things too if I really wanted to get to the nitty gritty of MIDI mapping. Just depends on how deep in the rabbit hole you want to go. But this is like incredibly powerful for Koala. So I wanted to show you guys just some quick things with it that you can do with it. And yeah, so because there's some people that have been using, like say like the Apple Magic Keyboard, things like that, and how it does the same thing, or which is cool. But if you don't have 250, right, 250 bucks for a keyboard for Apple, and you kind of want to get that same type of convenience, this is the way to go. So I'm going to switch to Koala using the keyboard, and just show you just how cool this thing is. So let's check that out. What's going on, guys? So I got the keyboard here, got Koala here pulled up. Now I do want to let you guys know that I might have misspoken in the beginning as far as it being like a Bluetooth controller. Now it's a Bluetooth keyboard, not a controller, not the same thing. At least for now, until Koala potentially creates an option where you can actually use this as a MIDI keyboard. But with the regular keyboard functionalities, you can actually do a decent amount within Koala. So I pulled up this just to show, like, if you were to do MIDI mapping, and I am using the touchscreen to get to this just for the sake of getting to my point here on this. If you were to select this pad, it doesn't map it, you see, because usually when you use a MIDI controller, when you click on it, it actually maps it. This isn't mapping it, but this is still going to be useful. Okay, so when it comes to the keyboard, the Bluetooth keyboard that you choose, basically 1, 2, 3, 4, QWER, ASDF, and QXCV, those are your 16 pads. Okay, so this is 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, QWER, ASDF, and ZXCV. Okay, so those are all of the pads for Koala. And usually I would probably flip this right side up if I were to actually, make music for this. probably just because it's going to visually, it might visually make more sense if you're using the keyboard for it, but just for the sake of the video. But there's some other functions that you can use with this as well, right? So if you were to switch between sample, sequence, and perform, you just hit the tab on your keyboard on the left side here. So if I want to go to sequence, I just hit tab. I just hit tab again to go to the performance section. If I want to go back to sample, I have to hold shift, specifically the shift on the right side of the keyboard, and then hit tab, and then it takes me back. So kind of cool. A couple of other options you can do is that you can switch between the banks. So as you can see, I'm on bank D, but I can also hit the couple things I can do here. I can hit the up arrow. So you have the directional buttons usually in the bottom right of your keyboard. I can hit the up, or actually not the up, the right. Maybe not that one. Let me see. The brackets. I think it's the brackets. Yeah, the brackets. Okay. What's this guy talking about? So the brackets on the keyboard next to your P on the keyboard, the bracket left and right brackets will switch the different banks. Okay. It's kind of cool. So, if you if you needed more banks, you can switch that way. And then when it comes to sequencing, say if you want to switch your sequences, because that's obviously a really important part when you're making your stuff. So if you were to, obviously you want to hit play, you just hit the space bar, plays your sequence that you make here. If you want to play and record, you can actually hit the 9 on the Bluetooth keyboard. I think it's the 9 or the 0. It might be the 0 actually. So if you hit the 0, the 0 with the parentheses, it'll have the metronome, record it, and play. And then if you hit M on your keyboard, it actually removes the metronome. So that's convenient. M is in fact controlling the metronome for that. So that's pretty cool. And then I just hit the 0 again to stop recording. And I believe if you hit 9, if you hit 9, nothing happens. So 0 recorded with metronome and plays. M, you can control that metronome there, which is sweet. And it looks like, so you have that. And then as far as for the banks, once again, the brackets there. Some other functions for this, there was one that was really neat. I'm trying to remember. I think it's the piano function. So if you hit the question mark on your keyboard, it pulls up, the piano function. And typically when you do that, you have to choose a specific pad. So, but if you press the question mark here, it just pulls up your keyboard and the grid. So it does it pretty quickly, because typically you have to hit a couple of different buttons to even pull that up to begin with. Now here's a neat thing that I didn't think about or know how to do without the keyboard. If you are on this page and if you hit Z or X, it actually changes the octave, which is crazy, right? You can go up to 4 octaves as far as the changes, or you can do 4 octaves back as well. And I'm just hitting the Z to lower the octave and X to make it an octave higher. So kind of cool. And then hitting question mark again will just take you back here to the pads. So there's a couple of neat functions, right? When it comes to all of this. Now, you can also use a mouse, hook up your Bluetooth mouse into Koala, which I think is going to be beneficial for just kind of doing everything else within Koala. So for some reason, when it comes to the keyboard functions, say if I'm, switching to performance, it won't let me go to this tab, which I don't understand. But you can use, obviously tap on it or just use your Bluetooth mouse to kind of scroll through everything else, just to be able to ergonomically access certain things. I just hit the shift and tab there, especially, when it comes to accessing your banks and whatnot. One thing you can do, I think it's this button here. Yeah, so if you hit the down arrow, so you see what happened when it went to the different, and I'm not saying this is the most convenient option, but I'm just letting you know about this just because it does it in general. If you hit the down arrow for these little the directional buttons on your keyboard, it goes through the banks, but then also it goes to the portion where you can pull up your sounds. And then just start, going through them. And the cool thing too is that once you're on this, you can use the buttons to cycle through them as well. So it'll, show you it'll do the preview sounding and whatnot of them. Kind of cool. Again, using a mouse makes it beneficial because that way you can scroll through these as well. See what you want to do. But this allows you to navigate through them a lot quicker. Because for some reason the middle roll wheel on the mouse doesn't work on the iPad, at least for this particular mouse. Yeah, and then as far as for loading it, I'm not sure what the keyboard function would be for that. I would imagine enter. Okay, yeah, enter. That's easy enough. Enter, it loads it up. Yeah, so pretty neat. When it comes to just using the pads, it's pretty cool. And then the sequencing, switching between one sequence to another, I think is pretty nice. Actually, let me show you that. I don't think I actually ever showed you guys that. So let's just press play here. And then it goes, I want to say it is the YOU. So if we go to, so if we go to U, it's going to go to that next sequence. If we go to I, it goes to the other sequence, and then going to U goes to the other sequence as well, which is pretty nice. Under it, I don't know if it's going to go to the ones under it. It looks like it does. So yeah, so the TY, IU, and then the GHJKL, or the GHJK, excuse me. What am I talking about? What the YUIO and the HJKL navigate all the sequences there, which is kind of cool. So, yeah, and then one other thing that's pretty neat as well is that the plus and minus function on the Bluetooth keyboard. If you hit the plus, you can actually add additional bars to your track. So for this, right now I have it as 3 bars set, as you can see. So if I do the minus arrow, it's going to make it where it's just 1 bar. And going at that 110 BPM there, and then I can just switch to the next one there, and then go to the I, still 1 bar there. This one is actually 3 bars. If you click on that, you see it's 3 bars. I can just adjust that to 1. Yeah, so I would definitely play around with this. When it comes to the Bluetooth keyboard, it's kind of neat. I think when it comes to actually making the music and using the keyboard, I think you'll realize hey, this is actually pretty fast and intuitive, and it doesn't take up a whole lot of space, which is the biggest thing, right? You can just cook up with this, and worst case scenario, you can just use it as an iPad to navigate certain things that the keyboard won't allow you to do. But as far as just making music, this is $15. This keyboard is $15 that I first showed in the first part of the video. So just wanted to share that again. J.Powell Music. Catch you guys next video. Thanks a lot. Appreciate you.